Welcome to the Heartbreak to Happiness Show with Sarah Davison. If you're struggling with a breakup and you feel shocked, angry, betrayed, devastated, or sad and alone, then this podcast is for you. Best-selling author and award-winning host Sarah Davison shares how you too can get on with your life to heal, grow, and move from heartbreak to happiness.
In trauma, existentially, two things happen that are really negative for you. Number one, your central nervous system, which is designed to keep you alive, has lost faith in you to protect you. That's not good. Number two, and probably worse, your central nervous system has lost faith in the universe as being a safe place.
Yeah.
People who don't understand trauma say, just find a safe place and relax. There is no safe place because it's in my head. Now, if you look at a PET scan of a post-traumatized brain, you'll see diminished blood flow to the hippocampus and the prefrontal and frontal cortex. What does that mean? The hippocampus is the memory center, and your prefrontal and frontal cortex is your cognition, your ability to think clearly. So you're stuck in this memory pattern of trauma that keeps eliciting your fight or flight response.
Here's your host, Sarah Davison.
Welcome back to the show. Now today I have a very special guest for you from the States, and his name is Jim Poole. Now Jim is the CEO of NuCalm, which is a product that I am dying to share with you because it has completely transformed my entire world for the better. And I don't say that lightly. So I am super excited to welcome Jim Poole to the show. Welcome, Jim.
It's a pleasure to be here, and always wonderful to hear our technology having an impact on people's lives.
So I was in Hollywood and you were speaking at the same event as I was. And I was out there promoting Screw You, Watch This, my book. And I listened to you talk about NuCalm and I thought, that sounds really interesting, but is it really going to work for me? Because I've had CPTSD for about 6 years and tried everything. And the people listening will know that I literally will take on anything, try anything. I've tried so many different types of solutions to help me sleep through the night because I hadn't been able to sleep more than 2 hours at a time. And I found it really difficult at nighttime, especially to be in total silence. So it's something that I could cope with during the day when I had all my coaching tools and could kind of think about it consciously. But at nighttime, it would come up and make my life very difficult to the point where I really wasn't getting any decent sleep. Now you said, Sarah, go and try this. Just try it for a week and see what happens. And oh my goodness, I am now sleeping 7, 8, 9 hours a night. My energy has gone even more through the roof, if that's even possible. And it literally has changed how I feel and how I cope and how I manage my PTSD. So I'm forever grateful, but also I really want to share this with my listeners because I know there's going to be so many people out there dealing with sleep problems, dealing with anxiety, dealing with stress, dealing with focus, dealing with trauma, and NuCalm can help with all of these things, guys, all of them. So, Jim, over to you to just explain a little bit about what this incredible product is and how it can work.
Well, your introduction has me excited, has me curious, and I'm wondering, what is she talking about? Let me start by saying what you're going to hear sounds too good to be true. And what you're going to learn, you probably not have been taught before. But let me just establish a line of credibility. We've been doing this for 36 years. 36 years, we are a neuroscience company. We have the only patents in the world for balancing the human nervous system. We have the only patent in the world for a method used to elicit a state change in a human brain. We used to be a $6,000 regulated FDA Class 3 medical device, Health Canada approved and military approved. And for 17 years, we have served the elite military, Department of Defense, the Department of Justice, pilots, doctors, professional athletes, and cancer patients. And it was exclusive, Sarah, and that's not our intention. Our intention was try to figure out how to solve complex problems with safe, predictable neuroscience. But along the way, as we started seeing the capability of what we created, it was our goal beginning in 2016 to make this affordable, accessible, and easy. And we accomplished that. So today, we're no longer a complicated $6,000 medical device. We're a mobile app. What? 7 billion people on this earth have a mobile app. Great. That's the accessibility. We're no longer $6,000. You can get access to NuCalm for as low as $15 a month US. So that's kind of the backside. But the front side is, what are we? Why are we here? What's the genesis of why NuCalm is important for humanity? I have to start a little bit, Sarah, with the brain.
How it works will then paint the picture,
Yeah.
and then it will explain a little bit more about why I'm getting the results. And actually, I've been sharing this in my coaching community, I have to say, since January, since I met you, so for the last 3 or 4 months. And oh my goodness, they are all reporting incredible results, and they've even passed it on to husbands and children. My son's using it, he loves it. So again, insanely brilliant. I'm super excited for you to explain what this is.
So on the website and in YouTube, there are probably 1,000 videos of my face and my voice explaining the evolution of the human brain, the circuitry of the brain, the amygdala, the reptile part of our brain, stress and fear, anxiety, what happens in trauma, your prefrontal and frontal cortex. I would recommend that you check those out. But for today, and to keep this brief and on point, let's just talk about vibration, frequency, and resonance. And this is not an easy topic. People have a difficult time understanding intangibles. If I can't see it, what are you talking about? What do you mean a radio wave? What do you mean a frequency? What do you mean resonance? What are you saying? Well, the human brain, your brain, my brain, and everyone's brain on Earth oscillates in a frequency range of 41 hertz, from 0.5 hertz all the way up to 41 hertz. And in this range, there are 5 categories. Delta, theta, and alpha are slow waveforms in sleep. Beta and gamma are faster. So this is math. Here's what I like about this. Where your frequency is right now, your behavior, your mood, and your thoughts are exactly predictable. For example, delta is 0.5 hertz to 4 hertz. When your brain is oscillating at 0.5 to 4 hertz, you are in dreamless, like deep sleep. Deep sleep is that cycle where your body literally is like in a coma and you're drooling on your pillow. You're not even dreaming. You're restoring, okay? Theta is 4 hertz to 7 hertz. This is a lucid dream state. This is the healing zone. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a second. Alpha is 8 hertz to 12 hertz. This is falling into sleep, being in the zone, creativity. And then beta, 13 to 15 hertz is you're awake, but not really excited about your day. 15 to 20 hertz is the learning zone. There's a certain frequency associated with your brain's capacity for learning. I should probably look into that one. 20 to 25 hertz. Now we're starting to get where trauma, where anxiety, where worry, they plague us all day long. Fast frequency. 25 to 30 hertz, a lot more of the same. So let's think through this. In our brain, the key for our brain, the key for us to think clearly, the key for us to be present in the moment or patient, self-aware, a good listener, observant, is to have oxygen in key areas of our brain. But you'll notice when you're stressed, your heart rate's growing fast and your breath is shallow. Your frequency's fast, you're distracted, because with this frequency, there's not enough oxygen coming here. So it's all kind of related. And the more you learn about it, like, wow, okay, this is fascinating, but it's also a challenge. Because when we're in that state of chaos or agitation or having a terrible day, and someone says, wow, you're grumpy today, you don't respond in kind, do you? You're like, because you don't have oxygen here. Okay? 30 to 38 hertz is pure fight or flight, survival mechanism, and you're in a state of shock. We don't want to spend any time there unless we have to, unless we're literally in mortal danger. And then 39 to 41 hertz is this incredible area called gamma that's associated with exceptional mental acuity, absolute certainty of this is what I need to do, and activating your musculature. So for anyone who's working out, if you want to elevate your endurance and your strength, remove lactic acid and inflammation, you would put your brain in that state. So that's the landscape. But let's go back to the healing zone, because that sounds like a place we want to spend time in, and it is. In the sleep architecture, why humans need to sleep, for example, if you were to live 100 years, you should sleep for 33 years. Again, reinforces the necessity of sleep. But why? Why is sleep so important? Because in theta, that frequency range in sleep, it's called the healing zone because it's the only time your cells clean their toxins and your cellular maintenance is done. And it is the only time that the mitochondria, which is your energy source, is restored. So if we think through the body and the brain and how we live and operate, cell biology is cells with a distinct function communicating information to another cell. And they do this either electrical signaling or chemical signaling. But if they're filthy, they're not getting any energy, they lose their function, they lose their job. That's how disease starts. So you are in the business, Sarah, of helping people heal and training people to help people heal. And a lot of these folks are coming out of traumatic relationships with a lot of scar tissue. The issues are in the tissues, but their brain has changed. Post-trauma, your brain has changed. Most people have never shared this with you, and most people haven't told you, listen, let me keep this really simple. In trauma, existentially, two things happen that are really negative for you. Number one, your central nervous system, which is designed to keep you alive, has lost faith in you to protect you. That's not good. Number two, and probably worse, your central nervous system has lost faith in the universe as being a safe place.
Yeah.
So people who don't understand trauma say, just find a safe place and relax. There is no safe place because it's in my head. Now, if you look at a PET scan of a post-traumatized brain, you'll see diminished blood flow to the hippocampus and the prefrontal and frontal cortex. What does that mean? The hippocampus is the memory center, and your prefrontal and frontal cortex is your cognition, your ability to think clearly. So you're stuck in this memory pattern of trauma that keeps eliciting your fight or flight response. So what happens? Your frequency is always fast. You never get peace of mind. You never get a break. You never get a breath.
And that's why, like, for me, I lost my memory the day this particular incident happened, that I stopped sleeping. I literally, I cannot remember things. And it's taken me, it's getting slightly better now of seeing that happen. But it disappeared overnight. So that would explain it, I guess.
It's fascinating, isn't it? When you understand the brain and the body, you can't help but be so humbled by the complexity of this organism. Your brain, it doesn't say, hey, Sarah, you know what? I'm going to help you by doing this. It doesn't ask permission. It just tries to figure out, how can I help her stay alive today? I can't worry about anything else. I can't worry about self-actualization and interpersonal relationships and oxytocin and love. I have to help her survive. That's what happens. And it is fascinating. The problem is, post-trauma, most people don't understand what happened to their brain. So they start to literally question, is it me? How come I'm not in control anymore? How come I'm so easily agitated? How come I'm constantly distracted? How come I can't sleep? And they start building a shame cycle. Then they start trying things, but nothing's built to solve the problem. These are little symptoms and band-aids, but they don't work because this whole mechanism is so inflamed and so scared that it's bringing all this methods to protect you. Okay? Yeah. So it's like scar tissue. I had a back operation in 1999. They took 4 discs out of my spine. And all the work I did post the surgery with therapists was to make sure scar tissue didn't grow there so that it would further complicate my healing. Trauma develops scar tissue. So, in 1990, the esteemed, amazing neuroscientist, quantum physicist, naturopath, Rhodes Scholar at Oxford, from Texas, went on a quest to figure out, how can I help the traumatized brain, the complex traumatized brain, and the addictive disease brain? And how can I do this without pharmaceutical intervention? I'm going to share with your audience something that's profoundly disturbing to me and will be disturbing to them as well. You ready?
Yeah, ready.
Fear, stress, anxiety, depression, worry, agitation, overwhelm is an autonomic nervous system problem. Autonomic nervous system. So
What
why
does
do
that mean? Autonomic.
the autonomic nervous system is managed by the amygdala, and it's the reptilian part of our brain. Okay. It also manages fight, flight, or freeze, our ability to protect ourselves. It also manages our involuntary bodily functions, our heart rate, our breath, our digestion, our hormonal regulation. It has a lot of responsibility. The central nervous system, this and our spinal cord, different. Thinking, emotion, but also protection, our five senses, survival. So if I present to a doctor that I'm highly anxious and I can't get a break and I can't sleep, they say, here, hold out your hand. I'm going to give you a benzodiazepine. Well, a benzodiazepine is a central nervous system suppressant.
Is
But
that
it's
an antidepressant you're talking about, or a sleeping tablet?
yes, a benzodiazepine is yes, sleeping,
Oh,
correct.
sleeping.
So you're giving me the central nervous system suppressant to address an autonomic nervous system problem. This equation doesn't make sense. That's modern medicine. They're not going to the root cause.
Mm.
They're not helping you solve a problem. In fact, they're introducing more problems. Yes, maybe today my anxiety is downregulated and I can take a breath, but now my cognition's suppressed. And now because the body and the brain compensate for everything you do, now you're going to start creating side effects. And now I'm going to start getting on this wheel of a lot of different meds because my brain physiology and chemistry is trying to compensate for a problem that you're not solving. This is a problem. Dr. Holloway saw this problem and he said, I refuse to accept that anybody who presents to me with complex trauma, trauma or addiction, that I'm going to give them a pharmaceutical intervention. I'm not going to do it because it's not going to solve the problem. It just wastes time for everybody and it gives them a false sense of hope.
Mm.
So in 1990, he went on this path. Now he was a brilliant human being. The most exceptionally intellectually curious human I'd ever met, and had the capacity mentally to just do amazing things. It took him 19 years to figure this out.
Wow.
Why did it take him that long? Because the brain's complex. What did he figure out? He said, you know what? If I can precisely and effectively slow down your brainwave function to 4 hertz, remember that's the healing zone, the body knows how to heal. My job is to take you to the healing zone. So that is what he figured out. Well, how does he do it? We create software. This software has incredible amount of complexity in it. Of course it does. The brain's complex. We're looking at managing your brainwave. It has a pitch and frequency matrix. It has nonlinear oscillating algorithms. It has a ton of physics and math, isochronic waveforms, binaural signal processing, you name it. This is in the software, and we create original music compositions on top of the software to create a nice experience for you. You put a headphone on, you hear nice music. Music is entertainment or distraction. Underneath the music, you can't hear 250 megabytes to 3 gigabytes of math that we are using to present your brain with precise signals, like a thermostat back in the day. Hey, you know what? I'm going to dial this down or dial it up. And your brain synchronizes with the signals. So when Sarah does Rescue, which is our most popular product, and she lays down and she puts an eye mask on so that she's not visually stimulated by light, and she puts a headphone on, okay, she can't hear what we're doing. She hears beautiful music. The first few minutes, nothing happens. We call this the departure lounge. You see, Sarah is a human being with a human brain, but she also has some trauma history. So remember, her central nervous system isn't the most trusting mechanism on earth. So she's like, hey, what are you doing? You're taking my eyes away and you're taking my ears away. And what is this? So the first few minutes of every NuCalm experience we call the departure lounge. We're literally taking our brain and slowing it down and then bringing it back up, slowing it down, bringing it back up. We're seeking permission from your central nervous system to trust we're going to take you somewhere safe. And then at minute 5 of, for example, the Rescue 20 track, or minute 8 at the Rescue 30 track, you are now in 4 hertz. This is magic, because this is where the magic of healing happens. Sarah didn't do anything. She didn't go live with monks and learn to meditate like a monk for 20 years. She didn't do anything. She laid down, she put a headphone on an eye mask. Our neuroscience did the work. We guided her brain to a spot we know is going to allow her to heal. And in this space, this 4 hertz space of theta, her cells are cleaning her toxins, her mitochondria is restored, and we're oxygenating those key areas of the brain that are deprived of oxygen, because that fight or flight mechanism is stealing oxygen all day long.
Because that's so the first time I did it, my heart rate went up and I was a bit like, oh my God, what is going on? What is going on? So I tried it again and it wasn't quite as bad, but I still had that reaction. So I phoned you, didn't I? I said, Jim, what is going on? I'm trying to do this, but I'm actually feeling a bit panicked because of it. And then you asked me, are you a bit of a control freak, Sarah? And I was like, yes, you could say that. So tell us what was going on then for me. And I know it doesn't happen to many people, but it can happen, can't it?
Remember, trauma compromised your central nervous system and destroyed its belief structure. Your central nervous system doesn't trust you and doesn't trust the world. So you took headphones and an eye mask and you trusted an American in Hollywood to tell you that neuroscience could solve your problems. And your brain's like, I don't believe anything until I experience it. So that
Yes,
the first experience and the second experience is literally us trying to untangle your locus of control. Your locus of control is important. It keeps you alive and it keeps you safe, but sometimes it overcompensates. Now, your brain knows exactly what rescue can do and it welcomes it. But yes, those first couple times, sometimes for some people, it may be uncomfortable, but here's what's cool. You're there for 20 minutes. Your mind might start saying, this doesn't feel good. You start literally like feeling some pressure in your chest. Think about this. This is you starting to like panic, saying, what are you doing? You're taking control away from me. I don't know. I'm not ready. What is this? That's what happens. But here's what's fascinating, Sarah. Your reticular activating system is the most powerful pattern recognition machine in the world. And it knows this is what happened. This was a safe outcome. So the second or third time you try it, you glide right in. And now for you, you're like, as soon as you probably hear the music, your body's like, this is what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I have a physiological response as well, because I realize I must carry a lot of tension in my jaw. So as soon as, and especially at night, when I put on the night track through the speaker, because you don't wear the headphones at night, you have the speaker. As soon as just the first few seconds, my jaw starts to relax and it feels like it sort of drops right down. I always think, God, my face is look really weird, but everything just starts to relax because I know what's about to happen. And my body just, it's almost like getting into a warm bath. It's just like, oh, okay. And then it just takes that edge of any of that fear, because it's still, sometimes with anxiety or stress or worry, you might have that butterfly feeling, or even if you are feeling anxious, it just takes that away. It's like you feel safe. And it's the only thing. And I have tried so many things, and a couple of things like EMDR that did touch the edges for me, did make a small difference. But this is a complete transformation from 2 hours and then waking up for 6 years of my life, and waking up worried and my mind going to dark places, remembering and reliving some of the trauma, to now not waking up at all. If I wake up, I just turn over and go straight back to sleep again. And it's just the most calming, most relaxing experience. And I've been raving about it to literally everyone. So everyone I know who has sleep issues or anxiety or struggles to focus or is dealing with trauma, I have been using it, and I think only one person out of all of them had a bit of a struggle with it. Everybody else has just found it, and she got over that struggle. It's just like me, it took a couple of times, but everybody else straight in absolutely changed their lives, like the ability the next day to do things, to focus, to be a better parent, to feel healthier, not just mentally, but also physically. And it gets rid of some of that brain fog. And as I said, my memory has started to come back again, which is amazing. And my team really appreciate that because I was a bit of a nightmare before. So yeah, I mean, I find it quite miraculous, and I would never say that if I didn't 100% believe it, Jim. It really is incredible what you've created here.
Hey, it's Sarah here. Just to remind you that we have 3 online support groups where you can find your tribe and get coaching support from my elite team coaches to help you with any kind of breakup, divorce, separation, toxic relationship breakdown. Get your questions answered and get the boost you need. Also, if you'd like to join our coaching community and turn your pain into your superpower and become a breakup and divorce coach with us, then you can also find the details on my website, sarahdavison.com. We look forward to seeing you soon.
It is incredible. NuCalm is immediate. It is profound, and probably most impressively, Sarah, it's cumulative. So the more you do this, the more you build your resilience piggy bank.
And it's safe, right? It's safe for anyone to do it.
We've been serving humanity for 17 years. We've had not a single reported adverse event. And we didn't even get into this piece. We started in medicine. We started by replacing general anesthesia for surgery. November 5th, 2009, we wheeled in a patient who was highly anxious with a headphone on and eye mask, put their brain at 4 hertz in 5 minutes. We've done 2,700,000 surgical procedures around the world. We'll do 10, 12,000 today, replacing general anesthesia by suspending your brain at 4 hertz and allowing the body to heal faster. So the clinician and the surgeon can do a better job. They're not worried about the patient's, cognition, or did we give them too much benzodiazepine or whatever that is. No. And then you get out and you heal faster. So the predictability and precision is incredible. So here's what we've done. Here's where it really gets fun. We've mastered the art of healing. Every time that you use rescue, we're balancing your nervous system. Every time that you use rescue, you are separating the trauma and that memory from your body's ability to elicit that physiological response. There's a separation. There are techniques and things you can do. Meditation, yoga, Tai Chi, EMDR, vagal nerve stimulation. But they will never be as precise and predictable because we went right to the source of the problem. We went right to the source and said, we're simply going to downregulate your brainwave, which is the master control of everything you do, and put you in this state. And in this state, your body and brain know how to heal you. They don't need permission. They don't need to figure it out. There is no practice. You just do it. So anybody who's been traumatized, you use rescue each day, it will completely change your life, and it happens really quickly. Within 6 or 7 days, you're like, wow, that normally would really agitate me, and it's rolling right off my shoulders. There might be something to this. And then you start sleeping well. It's hard to articulate, Sarah, isn't it? The benefit of sleep. The benefit of sleep is hard to share with people. What does that mean? Let me tell you what it means. Tell the audience what that means for you.
I mean, it's transformed my life completely to the point where I feel like that the things like you say, it's so true. Things that would normally I might react negatively to, or it might worry me. I'm like, okay, well, I'll get through that. I'll figure a way. It's not going to throw me off. I'm not going to have that sort of upset or panic or anxiety that maybe I would have had. Or it won't take me back or sort of re-trigger or remind me of some of the trauma I had. It's almost like it just makes you able to cope with things. But a lot of people have asked me, well, what is it? What does it sound like? And it literally sounds like a sort of a meditation music, isn't it? It just sounds, it's very relaxing. And so, there's nothing that can hurt you from it. You're just listening to what sounds like a normal meditation track, but there's a lot more going on underneath the music and the sounds. And I think some of it, well, there's one part that I love. It sounds a bit like you're in an aeroplane, and it's just like the air going past you. But I love that one. But then you've got other ones which are sort of different. There's music and water sounds and other things. So it's just beautiful and relaxing. But I know there's a lot more maths and science and physics going on beneath that, isn't there?
It's all science. The music is a nice to have to create a nice experience for you, but it's all science, because music can create entertainment and distraction, but it can't solve complex trauma. You can't go into an operation and have surgery listening to Celine Dion. That doesn't work. That's not how this works. So the brain requires complexity. So on the app today, we figured out how to take everybody's brain to 4 hertz. And then from there, because it's math, we looked at the matrix and said, wow, what if we take the endpoint and move it to 0.5 hertz and create a sleep product? Wow, what if we took the endpoint and put it at 7.83 hertz, which is flow state or being in this zone of creativity? That's flow state. Wow, what if we took the endpoint to 18.4 hertz and created focus, so that with a headphone on while you're working, you can get in the zone and focus like you've never done before? Wow, what if you went to 40 hertz and created mental acuity and really high intensity elevated consciousness, and 41 hertz to activate your mind and body? So today on this one mobile app, there are 8 different products. They're color coded. The names are pretty easy to identify what it might be. Like deepest sleep is probably for sleep. Power nap is probably for a power nap. Priming, focus, flow state. You select how you want to feel. 6 of the 8 products require a headphone, because for us to be really precise in how we deliver the signals, you can't have an exit clause for your brain. Your brain loves to be a squirrel. It's built to be a squirrel. Did you know that? Your brain is built to be a squirrel. It's, hey, look over that. Hey, look at this text. What about this? What? So with the headphone on, there is no squirrel. The precision of where we take you takes minutes, and we take you right to that outcome you select. Rescue and power nap and flow state demand an eye mask, because we are visually stimulated by light. You don't sleep with your eyes open. You don't meditate and relax with your eyes open. You don't nap with your eyes open. Well, you can't get to 4 hertz with your eyes open. Your brain's too stimulated. So that combination will allow any human on this earth to be able to meditate like a monk in 4 to 5 minutes, and every day it balances your nervous system. We've been helping people solve sleep problems for 17 years. We've only had the sleep product for 6. So how'd we do it? It's cause and effect. Most of the time people can't sleep is because they're not managing stress well throughout the day. They don't have enough balanced biochemistry. They're looking at their phone right before bed. They're activated all the time. They're drinking coffee and tea and energy drinks, and we're just going. No, when you solve your nervous system and balance it, during the day you do rescue, we're preparing you for a good night's sleep. The deep sleep product is simply a cherry on top. So in your bedroom with a speaker, not your mobile phone speaker, because it really can't support all the math and science that's coming out of the track, but with a speaker in your bedroom, you press start on a deep sleep track. We're not asking your permission. We're not reading you a bedtime story. We're not giving you a glass of warm milk. We're not rubbing your back. We're putting you to sleep. That's it. So that combination of rescue during the day, balance my nervous system, get me out of this chaos, slow down my monkey mind, give me breath, and at night, allow me to sleep, that combination changes your life. And it allows you to regain command of who you are and who you want to be, not in this perpetual gerbil wheel of constantly being consumed by a to-do list that makes no sense. I challenge people all the time and say, hey, September 3rd, 2019, what was your to-do list? Huh? Exactly. It wasn't of any consequence. So if you took 20 or 30 minutes to take care of yourself, balance your nervous system, that's how we stay resilient, and that's how we live a long, happy, healthy life, because we are so consumed with our to-do list, we've lost the spirit of understanding. None of this makes sense. It's like this weird ruse. What are we in a race for? Seriously. What day this year, this calendar year, 90 days in, did you do something so incredible that it's going to be a life-changing event for you for the rest of your life? You didn't. It doesn't work that way. So stop, reflect, and say, is this the life I want to live? And how can I make that change? And if you're coming out of trauma, this is a non-negotiable because there aren't any other products out there. We have the only patent in the world for balancing your nervous system. We've done all the hard work and we've made this easy for you. So try it.
So where do people go to try it, Jim?
www.NuCalm, NuCalm. And the name was derived because back in the day, 17 years ago, we said, what competition do we have for relaxing the brain? Drugs and alcohol. Amazingly predictable at stopping the chaos in your brain, but amazingly negative in the consequences. So that we call old calm. This is NuCalm. That's where the name came from. So you go to NuCalm.com. There are 3 different levels. There's $15 US a month that gets you rescue, balancing your nervous system. There's $30 a month US that gets you sleep suite, that balances your nervous system and gives you sleep. And then there's our most popular, which is $50 a month US, that gets you access to all 8 products. So you can live your life any way you want, when you want, how you want. And people might say, wow, $50 for an app, that's crazy. Is it? Because 4 years ago, it was a $6,000 FDA Class C medical device.
And you've kindly given anyone that's listening to this, my followers, a discount as well, haven't you? If they use
15% lifetime discount. Not 1 month, not, hey, maybe we'll take care of you this month, for the rest of your life. And Sarah, one of the cool things about taking care of people in their brain, in their nervous system, is once you come on board the NuCalm family, you don't leave.
Yeah.
No one leaves because nobody knows how much stress they've been carrying until it's gone. And you do this a few days, and you're like, I'm not going back to monkey mind. I'm not doing that. I didn't like it.
Put my name in as the code. So SARA, Sarah, into when you go to the website, NuCalm.com, type in Sarah, and then you'll get 15% for life. So that's amazing. Right. Thank you for that.
And there's a 7-day free trial. So you go to the website. This is an app, but we don't sell in the app store. You have to go to our website. You click free trial, and it says, hey, open your account. In that process, there's a coupon code. You put Sarah in there, and it'll give you the discount right there. Everybody gets moved into Sleep Suite after the 8th day, and then you can upgrade, do whatever you want. But this is a path to literally change your life. And when we first started today, Sarah, I said, hey, it's going to sound too good to be true. Of course it does. It sounds insane.
That's what I thought when I saw you the first time in Hollywood. Yeah. I was like, oh yeah, here we go. Let me try it. I'll try it. I'll try anything. Well, pretty much anything. But yeah, I was absolutely blown away. But this has also worked. So a lot of people listening will be domestic abuse survivors. They'll be probably still dealing with a very toxic person in their life. They're probably managing them, throwing little grenades into their life every 5 minutes, text messages, lawyers' letters, or if it's a divorce, there'll be legal letters, going to court, managing kids, heartbreak, all those things going on. Tell us some of the people that you've had success with. I know you've worked with a lot of veterans, and if you're talking about scales of trauma, I mean, they're really at the top end of seeing some of the most horrific things any human could see, and it's been working for them.
Yeah, trauma is trauma. The brain physiology and the response inside my brain is the same response inside your brain. It's just a matter of the magnitude of the trauma or the chronic long-lasting. We've helped a few million people, hundreds of thousands of veterans, but I know a lot of personal friends of mine who've gone through divorce. Even if it wasn't a toxic, narcissistic, abusive relationship, it's still gross. It's gross on everything about everybody involved. That's just the way it is. And in that process, I remember one gentleman said, Jim, I don't know what's going on here, but I've been with my life for a long time, and there's certain triggers and behavioral patterns that we have. So she came in the other day to my office and she did a few things that normally would trigger me, and it didn't. I literally looked at her and says, that's fine. I'll take that under advisement. And she stopped in her tracks, paralyzed, and said, what? And then walked out of my office. So in the process, what you just mentioned is so many pieces of just destroying my nervous system, throwing the grenade in, the text,
Yeah.
the kid battles, the manipulation, in an abusive relationship, it's often so nonlinear, it's so illogical that you begin questioning your own sanity.
Mm-hmm.
That destroys your nervous system. You never get to rest because you're always waiting and walking on eggshells. This stops all of that, and it does it immediately. So in the divorce process, you can get the hand grenades through text, and you'll become like Teflon. You look at it and say, oh, I can see how he or she's trying to manipulate me, and I'm not buying it. That is so, so powerful. The most powerful thing you can do is to take care of you.
Yeah. Because tell us about, because when I was talking to you, you were talking before about how if you don't get sleep, the impacts on your life. And I think, we might think, oh, I'll keep going and I can manage on 2 or 5 hours here and there. But this is something that I think a lot of people don't realize, that it actually shortens your lifespan.
This is one of those things, Sarah. There's 2 blind spots that I see in the human species that are confusing and sad. Number 1, we don't understand intangible. If I can't see it, touch it, smell it, taste it, feel it, is it real? Well, of course, stress is real. When you're stressed out, you're not at your best.
Yeah.
Okay. When you're stressed out, you're not hungry. Okay. When you're stressed out, you say things you don't mean. Okay. But is it real? That's number 1. Number 2, time horizon. Don't smoke cigarettes. You will die of lung cancer. Yeah, but I'm 18 years old. I'm going to live forever. Don't go in the sun and sunbathe. Melanoma is nasty and will kill you. I'm going to get a sunburn. What? So we don't have that capacity. So if I tell you, this is physiology 101. After puberty, all of our sleep becomes to compromise every year of our life. We sleep less when we need more sleep. That sucks. That's just the way the brain is built. Okay. Now, over time, 20s and my 30s, I can fake it till I make it. I can go to bed late. I can party hard. I can show up the next day in a suit and you wouldn't even know it. Great. But in the 40s and 50s, I start waking up with inflammation. I know a body part is going to hurt in the morning. I just sometimes can't predict which body part. That's aging. We are all going to die younger than we're supposed to for 2 reasons. 1, we did not manage stress well, and stress, because the way it works, the cells stop communicating and doing their job, disease begins. And then the stress of that disease accelerates the disease. And over time, every night that you don't sleep well, this isn't chopping your head off from one bad night of sleep. It's death by 40 million cuts with a butter knife. So I can tell you, this is really simple physiology. You will live less years, and the end years will not be pleasing to you if you don't get sleep, because the cells must restore. You ask a lot of your cells every day. It doesn't ask permission from you, it does its job, but not if you don't give it the nutrients. So if you don't feed your cells the nutrients it needs. I did a lecture recently in Singapore, and a doctor said, Jim, what are the keys to longevity? I said, it's really simple. Oxygen, mitochondria, and sleep. You take care of those 3 aspects, you will live an exceptionally long, healthy, resilient life. Sleep is crazy important, but you're seeing the difference. You've been faking it to make it for 6 years. Literally, I'm sure there's times you're in the shower in the morning, you're like, oh my God, this day is going to be terrible, right?
I used to drink about 5 cups of coffee throughout the morning to get me going. And now I used to think it was like I needed it and it was important and I liked it. Now I'm like, oh, I don't really like this. I don't really need it. So that, like, literally you can see the physiological shift, because I don't need the caffeine anymore to get me going in the morning. I wake up refreshed. It's not an effort to get out of bed. I'm like, oh, okay, I may as well get up then because I'm awake, rather than, oh, I wonder if I've got time for another 10 minutes. That's completely shifted. But I know you also work with people who have had cancer. Last time I spoke to you, you've been working with cancer victims as well. How does it help people who do have those long-term illnesses?
Monday at 10 o'clock, I will present NuCalm to about 45 people with stage 4 cancer. So for 14 years, we've been a fundamental therapy for the Comprehensive Cancer Wellness Program led by the MD, PhD, Dr. Janet Ranicky. She's an amazing angelical force of nature, someone I hold in high regard, and just an amazing human. For 40 years, she's been helping people solve the riddle of cancer. NuCalm has helped thousands of people stay alive whose medical oncologist has told them go home and prepare for death. But they're still alive 11, 12, 13 years later. NuCalm didn't cure cancer. Your body can cure cancer if given the tools.
Wow, Jim,
when you get cancer, think about the stress that happens when you're sitting in a hospital and a medical oncologist says, you have cancer. It's an immediate, all-consuming feeling of anxiety and all of it, and it never stops. So when I present to people with cancer, I say, raise your hand if in the last year you've had one moment of peace, one moment, even if it's a second. They don't raise their hand. Raise your hand if you woke up feeling like you slept the night before. In years, they don't raise their hand. So what do? We say, we're going to stop the chaos. I'm going to give you the gift of being able to meditate like a monk every day. You're going to use rescue once or twice a day. Non-negotiable. We're going to balance your nervous system. Because with a balanced nervous system, all healing can begin. Without a balanced nervous system, you're adding pieces to a broken foundation. It's a joke. It doesn't make any sense. Then we give you the gift of sleep. If we can liberate you from the chaos of stress and give you the importance of sleep, your body knows how to heal you. That's what we do with cancer. And this is true for anything. From Alzheimer's to ALS, from neurodegenerative diseases to Parkinson's, to addiction to trauma. It doesn't matter. We stay in our lane of solving stress in your brain and balancing your nervous system. Your body can do the rest. So we're like a facilitator.
It's amazing. It is amazing. So guys, if you're even considering it, do the 7-day free trial and just see for yourselves. It is a game changer, and it may not be, maybe you're thinking, oh, it's not for me, but for a friend. Great. Anyone can go on to NuCalm, NuCalm.com, and sign up for the free trial. And obviously use my name, SARA, for the coupon code section, and try it. Just try it, because honestly, it is the biggest gift that I've been able to share with my friends, my family, my coaching community, my coaches in training. Absolutely love it. I know you were kind enough to come in and do a webinar for them and meet them, and they absolutely loved it. And they've passed it on to their clients, they're passing it on to their family, and also children. You know, people often say, can children use it? Well, absolutely, because it's totally safe. My son loves it, because sometimes he's wired from coming back late from the gym. He's 17 now, goes to the gym late for some reason. Late is the thing. And then he's wired. So I'm like, put on your cough and let's get to sleep, because you've got to get up to go to school tomorrow. So again, you know, it's the most amazing product, and I'm glad that you persuaded me and were kind enough to give me access to it and introduce me to it, because it's literally been one of the best things that's happened to me.
Well, the beauty, Sarah, is I didn't have to persuade you. I just said, this will help you. And because you're struggling, what do struggle people want? They want hope. I'll try anything because I'm struggling. I didn't have to convince you. After the first couple of times, you're like, oh, it's a little crazy. Then I maybe had to say, hey, well, this is what's going on.
I totally get that I am a bit of a control freak, and I sort of didn't want to relinquish control. When you said that, it actually it felt right to me, because I'm trying to, I'm running a business. I've got a son. I'm dealing with this trauma, and you keep going, because for me, it's my mission. It's my purpose of being here, and I turn my pain into my power by helping people. So I can't, nothing's going to push me off that path. But so relinquishing a little bit was, I can see why that was challenging, and it felt like you were spot on when you said that. I was like, So then just giving myself permission to go for it, and never look back, never will look back. It's part of everyday routine for me. And I'm really, really grateful. So thank you. And again, thank you for coming on today and sharing with everyone here who's listening. And I know it's going to help people. I know it's going to, maybe the people listening, maybe their friends, maybe their family, maybe their clients. Everybody knows someone who this could make a massive positive difference to. And it's super affordable. And I mean, I couldn't imagine not having it now. So, and I never would suggest to anyone to try something I didn't 100% believe in myself. And this is the one thing that I know will help my followers with trauma, sleep, anxiety. It will just give you that extra layer of comfort and change things so you can start healing and taking your power back and getting out there and shining your light bright, because that's what this is all about. So thank you, Jim, for coming on, and thank you for being such a fabulous guest.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for all you do. I know the people listening know you, but sometimes it's like to say thank you for all the work you're doing. The mission you're on, the purpose is really important for an audience, and a lot of times you're working with the people with the biggest need and the quietest voice. And so it's amazing work you're doing. And I'm just honored to be able to facilitate that. Let me help with the nervous system, and then you do all the healing work. So it's a nice combination.
Thank you, Jim. Really good to see you. Thanks so much for coming on. That's it for today's episode. So do like, follow, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And I very much look forward to seeing you on our next episode.
That's it for today's episode of Heartbreak to Happiness. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review to win a free ticket to Sarah's virtual Heartbreak to Happiness retreat. This is a transformative combination of live webinars with Sarah herself, coupled with her empowering online video program designed to help you cope better with your breakup and start feeling happy again. Thank you, and join us again on the next episode for another dose of Heartbreak to Happiness.